Welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show. Big show for you today on this Monday. Is that December 29th, final Monday of the year. Schlegs, the Buckeyes, they got back from their time off, had a little Sunday style practice on Friday, and then two big ones on Saturday and Sunday before flying down to Dallas last night. They landed there, got some food. Media day this morning, going to hop into a Thursday practice, and then boom, 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 like get ready to start rolling with everything going on. So it was a huge deal for them to get all that done, to make sure that those were the big days. You want to make sure that you're healthy and you know what you're doing and that you're tuned up and ready to play sharp. And I was looking at some of this Schlegs. I know Ohio State, they're on the cutting edge of all this stuff with Mickey Marotti, as you know, in the sports science, a report, if you will, of how to stay sharp, but also get your players rested. Like why it was kind of a deal as to why some teams, when they come off of bye weeks or of a lot of rest, why do some teams look sluggish and slow?
Okay.
You know, like, and so basically it's how do you balance resting your players? Because it says, like in the study, like rest is good for your body. It will help you heal. But then if you're also not straining your body, then you begin to lose that little edge too. You know what I'm talking about, Schlegs?
100%.
We call that, what I call that, the free bird effect. Okay. You lose the free bird. You got to get on the ledge sometimes and get to a little free bird, but there is risk of doing that, like hopping up on that. So balancing that of like, how do you give your body enough stimulation to make sure that you're feeling really good, while also making sure that you have enough time to let everything rest, chill out, and feel okay during healing time as well. And so that's the rest versus rust balance. They put a little science to it, and we're kind of leaning in. You know, they're always at Ohio State, always pressing the boundaries of how do we get better? How do we make sure that we can be at peak levels of performance? Because sometimes, Schlegs, people talk about like last year, all the teams on buys went 0-4. And they said, well, is there a thing with the momentum? Well, maybe a little bit, but like the studies don't show that that's really a big deal. It's more the fact of, you know, those teams were tuned in, that momentum kind of goes away, but the routine of playing is key, and the routine of straining is key. But if you can strain without damaging tissue, then you'll be able to come back and be able to play well. So like that's what Ohio State has been balancing here. And then they get into this game week mode where now, hey, you got to go fast, you got to go hard, make sure we're getting your walkthroughs in, make sure you're locked in offensively. What are we focusing on with Miami and their great defensive line and some of their, you know, their second and third level players? Ohio State offensively, how do you stop their running game? How do you slow down Malachi Toney? How do you put pressure on Carson Beck? And doing that in a condensed period to make sure that, boom, we're fresh, boom, we're running fast, we're straining tissue, but we're also not fatiguing ourselves in a way that is going to, you know, become detrimental, if you will. And so I think that they were able to achieve that, at least from what I saw. Like the guys looked fast, they looked good. Everybody, you know, looked explosive and pop. And this is probably almost as healthy as I would say that they have been since, you know, start of the season.
It goes back. I saw a thing on Kirby Smart. Like, you still got to be physical. There's the risk reward of everything that you do. But guys, we play a contact sport. You got to go. And the good thing is that you have a bunch of guys that are coming back that have had some dings that that's part of a season. Everybody has that, Bob. But can they come out? They've gotten healthy. Other guys need reps. How do you get a new right guard ready to go for the game? Live, good on good reps. What do I got to do to get Jeremiah Smith ready for the game? Get them healthy. Same with Carnell. Make sure they're healthy. And then coach. Like, there's a little bit different. There's a little bit more fundamentals, but they still got to get the live. They still got to, you know, touch the max velo, right?
What is max? Like you say max velo all the time. What is max velo?
No, you're just looking at, like, we call it high. Everybody calls it.
It's called max. Schlegs, max velo stands for maximum velocity.
Yeah, I know, but you got to get to 90% of your max.
I understand that, but when you say max velo, most people don't know what that means.
I know, it's okay. They don't need to. Just like mostly Miami fans were just smashing whatever thing that Pat threw out there. He said the quote about, oh, Caden Curry's got 11 sacks and he's got 7.5. And they totally missed the context of why I said that. I said it because the national media was hyping him up, predicated upon he had a 3-sack game versus Texas A&M. We're like, well, if you just want to go to the stats, you and I both know, Bob, there's more to it. Caleb Downs didn't have a lot of great stats this year, but he's the best defensive back in all of college football, right? And the point was that just because Miami had a good game defensively, that and it was going back to the Pollock thing about their D-line being superior than Ohio State's D-line. I was like, there's more to it. I'm going to lay my hat on the team that's given up 8 points a game. Now, what it did show is that Miami's fans are on another level.
They're crazy, dude.
These guys, God bless them, because it's been 23 years since you've been relevant. And all I
Back when
want,
it's been since Rose was a girl, since she was getting painted like those naked French girls on the Titanic.
bro, was that when Titanic came out? That was in
No,
the
and
90s.
it's been 83 years.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Drops
that.
a little deal. That's how long it's been.
God bless her. You know what, though? Here's the thing. All I want to see is I want to see good on good. And again, it's so amazing that people just take things out of context. You can make whatever you want to make it. You can say that we don't know ball or whatever. All I'm saying is this. To justify that Miami has a superior defensive line than Ohio State's, simply off of a game versus Texas A&M where it was very windy and A&M did not perform or execute very well. And then also side nugget looking at what the ACC has even done in bowl games and all the other comments that made. And hey, the Big Ten's 5-0. Who cares? The point is this. It's going to be good on good. We know that, Bob, you talked about it. Miami has a fantastic D-line, but Miami also likes to do 5- and 6-man pressures, Bob, which in order to get said pressure on the quarterback, which is going to open a lot of what? 1v1s. And so there goes to, hey, can Ohio State's offensive line do better than it did against Indiana when there was a lot of movement and a lot of games? Didn't handle it really well. Are they going to be able to make the adjustment from that game to this game? If they do, watch out, because there's going to be a lot of 1v1s, and Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, Max Clare going to have a day. Defensively, Ohio State, make Carson Beck beat you. Do you feel that he can? You already know about Tony. He's a phenomenal kid. Kid just turned 18 in September.
They reclassified him, though. This is what's crazy. We're in an era now where, like, a lot of people, you hold your kids back. You want to be older, more physically developed.
Yeah,
Malachi Tony, he reclassified. And, like, I was talking to Heartline about this, and, like, we can't take you now. Like, not that he was not going to go to Miami or whatever, but he's like, you need more physical development. Like, he's a thin, smaller guy. It's not like he was Jeremiah Smith or Sonny Styles, like guys that came in looking like dudes. Like Sonny could reclassify because he was 225 pounds and he was 220 and he was 6'4" as a senior in high school. So he could transfer that and just go straight to Ohio State. Malachi Tony Schlegs, like they say, he's kind of like a Santana Moss type guy. Like he's got some strong legs, but he is a thin upper body guy and he's not very big. He's super quick. I think he's maybe quicker than fast. Not that he's not fast, but as far as like crazy high-end top speed, like he's fast, ultra quick, and ultra elusive. And so what you've got to do is hem them up. And we'll talk a little bit about this, getting into some of the practices and everything with it.
This all stemmed off of Max Velo. And it all goes back, and I just want you parents and you athletes and you Miami fans to understand this. As you're preparing for these bowl games, you got to make sure that you're stressing the tissue, both physically as far as like a contact and also physically from a sprinting. And like, you can't just sit there and rest and they're not going to be fast. And I would say this, Bob, the key indicator in this will be how we come out to start the game. And if you go back and you think about last year in that Oregon game, we jumped out on Oregon, executed from the jump. Yeah. What do we look like? That's what I'm excited. I'm excited to watch this game because Miami did play well in that defensive struggle. I'm excited to see our offensive line versus their defensive line. Can we establish a running game? Do they even need to pressure, or do they got to pressure? Which leaves one. I am so excited. I'm ready to see what we do with that bye in this format. How do we come out? I think they're going to come out fast.
It's going to be very exciting. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll dive in to a little bit more of that defensive line, that defense in Miami. There's a couple players in there. Some of the guys I even said for A&M, I had them on my key. Bryce Fitzgerald, freshman. He was right on there. I had him down. He had four picks on the season, had 2 more against A&M. But some of the other guys that I think could pose some matchup problems. And also, how does Ohio State attack it? What do they ultimately do? And what's their week going to be like? We'll start breaking all that down right here on the Bobby Carpenter Show. But first, a message from our friends at FanDuel.
You know how fast the NFL game days move. One big play, everything changes. That's why live betting on FanDuel. It's a game changer with FanDuel. You can bet in real time while the game unfolds. Score just flip, jump on a new spread or a live money line. Wide receivers heating up, bet the next touchdown score or total yards. Think that drive stalls in the red zone. Take a live field goal prop or fade the total. Live player props, team totals, drive results, updated spreads, next play markets. It's all there. It's fast. It's fun. And with FanDuel, your live bets move as quickly as the game does. So whether you're riding momentum or fading big plays and the hype, FanDuel puts you right in the middle of every moment. Visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to download the app and bet NFL live all season long. Must be 21 older and present in select states. For Kansas, an affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages, because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer. Welcome back into the program. We were talking about Schlegs, like defensive line wise, they've got Ruben Bain, number 4, who's really a big thumper, big physical guy. You know, talking to some of the other guys, some people think even Masador, the other end, is a little bit better, just a little more twitchy, can bend a little bit more than maybe.
Isn't he, Bob? What? He's not as thick.
He's not as thick. Well, Ruben Bain is a big, thick, powerful dude. You know, so he's like what, 6'3", 270? I would say that's probably about accurate. I mean, I don't trust anything I see unless it's coming out of the NFL Combine. But yes, you can tell by looking at him. He's like a big physical guy. Their whole defensive line, though, Moten, number 99, inside is good. You know, Blay, the other senior transfer in there, is good. They stunt some. They'll bring some pressure. They'll get a lot there with 4, but they'll bring some guys with some stuff and lock their corners up on the outside and run some combo coverages across the middle. But it's going to be on this offensive line. With Tegra out, it's going to be on Mr. Gabe Van Sickle, Dick Van Dyke, Greg Van Sickle. You got to put.
He has a bunch of nicknames. He has a bunch of nicknames too.
Were you there with Van Sickle? Did you train him at all?
Man, I don't know if Gabe was in there. I think he was there. Yes, he was, Bob. That was like a year ago. So yeah.
What name did you give him? Did you give him?
I never had to work with him. No, he was over there with Higgs.
You never got to work with him.
I got Ian Moore. No, I didn't have a lot of names. Like sometimes, like
I didn't know if you gave him a nickname. I feel like Gabe Van Sickle.
If I would have worked with him, I would have had a nickname for sure.
Yeah, but when you start talking about this D line, it's going to be interesting. A lot's going to be on that right side. One of the things they will do, Schlegs, is they'll kick Ruben Bain down and put him and Masador on the same side. And I'm curious if they'll do that against Ohio State and put them both on that right side against right guard, right tackle, Phillip Daniels and Van Sickle, to see if they can get some work in there.
Kind of like when we do that rushman package, when they'll kick in, they'll kick K-Mac, and they'll kick down Caden or somebody, right? Very similar things. Why would you think they want to go to the right side? Just because of the play on that? Or do you think they want to
because of the play. I mean, you would have to argue that has been, I think it's indisputable. Starting now a new guard. Tegra did struggle against Indiana, played well against Michigan. And then Philip Daniels, has been more inconsistent. Physical, tough guy. I don't know if he's quite as polished or developed as a player as Austin Sareveld on the left. So if you can get a chance to get like your best against maybe their weakest, I think that's something that they may try to exploit.
The biggest thing of how do you combat that, Bob? Win first and second down. And that's going to be another thing. And even if you don't, is this a game to where you see some CJ come in as, and that's another thing I'm anxious to see, is while this time off, guys are continuing to develop, right, Bob? Like bowl prep, college football playoff prep, you're still developing. And you have a freshman running back, two of them, Isaiah West and Bo Jackson, but Bo Jackson in particular because he's a starting running back. That's meaningful reps of something that's called pass pro, Bob, who's also very good out of the backfield with the ball in his hand. Which, how do you slow guys? One thing I haven't seen all year, Bob, when you got really fast defensive linemen, is a draw. Have you seen Ohio State run a draw one time? I don't think I have. But a screen, we've seen the Jeremiah kind of like screen like right over the line. Like we've seen that. Like
What's interesting, do you remember when we were watching Notre Dame? It's a long time ago, Schleigs, back in your CTE.
Back when you and I were playing?
Yes. We were playing Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl. We were probably the best defense they had played since Tennessee that year. I know Belichick has done this. Brian Schottenheimer did this one other time, where when you're playing a really fast defense, Notre Dame opened up the game, I think, with 8 straight screens. Halfback screen, like a divide screen, tunnel screen, bubble screen. And it's like, we're going to make your defensive line and your defense, who's really fast, run a lot. And then we're going to hit you with some inside zone stuff and some downhill counter stuff. When you're a little bit gassed and you've been running around and chasing everything down, then we're going to come downhill on you. And so it's interesting that like that may be part of the play in this that you start looking at and start seeing is, does Ohio State they stretch you a little bit? They try to work you on the perimeter some and wear that D-line out. And then as you watch those guys have to they head tap them and sub them off the field, then you run. And there was times where like teams would play against Aaron Donald. And since he was such a disruptive force, they'd screen, they'd run, they'd lateral. And as soon as he went off, then they'd run inside. And when he came back in, then they wouldn't run inside anymore. And so like that's a little bit of the game within the game. And Ryan Day is as smart as they come when it comes to building those game plans of how you're going to attack a team, what you're ultimately going to try to do. Like, what is the end goal? Like, how do you want this game to look? Maybe this is a game, Schleiks, because of that, you have a little more tempo, change the tempo up a little bit, maybe some fast, maybe some slow. There's times maybe you're standing on the ball just to keep that defense, as we just want to keep you on the field. Oh, we got one more great point coming up from our guy, Mr. Anthony Schlegel, coming up after this. But first, a message from our friends at Export. Export protect what matters most with Export mouth guards.
My grill.
Professional athletes designed by an NHL team dentist. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to help absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber. They custom print that bad boy right to your grill with 3D printing technology for more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication. Focusing on your game, not your gear. That's the key. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/BobbyDay and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most.
Customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer, beer flavored beer.
One more great point from Anthony Schlegel.
My fingers are not white.
You look like
because
Rick James
of
over
Coke.
there.
I know it's because I painted all the lines at the Armory, Bob, for
like
the kids to start
Sosa. I mean, you're like
2026.
you Scarface.
I do it all.
Like,
I do it all, man. No, I had the
you
fans
said you were
going
tired. Is that what you used as your energy to paint?
because I was standing up like this, and I was just, I had one of those sprayers that you roll around, Bob, but it didn't go like the 4 inches. It was just like spraying everywhere. So I made a template for the lines, and then it didn't have like the spray thing. It had like the thing that would push against it. So I just had to stick my 2 fingers on it and just like just walking like this, spraying this thing down for 65 yards worth of turf. 65-yard lines. Anyways.
It's good low back, some good.
Oh yeah.
Work.
Oh, my posterior chain.
You put a weighted vest
right
on
now.
to really amplify it even more.
How soft am I that I did not do that?
Exactly.
Okay, so the point is this. We talked a lot about the personnels earlier. This is why, and I'm not going to 14, mind you, okay, guys? Everybody out there? But this is where that 11, heck, even 12 personnel comes into play, because Brandon Ennis is a great blocker. This can even be one with Max Clare. Shoring up, that's what I'm interested to see on this, Bob, those bubbles. When you go out and you create space and they want to affect the quarterback, but you can go block up that perimeter. Because again, what is this? This game of football is pace, space, and angles. It's getting your best athletes in space on lesser athletes. That's Carnell Tate. That's Brandon Ennis. That's Jeremiah Smith. That's Bo Jackson out of the backfield on a screen. We saw what that screen was versus the Texas game at the end of the first half. Are they going to utilize this? That's why I said that. The personnel that we have to be able to go with tempo, Bob, to not make you sub out and still be able to run the ball effectively when you want to and go tempo and throw a screen or throw a slant or do this, you can spread the field and get your guys in space. Excited to see how that plays out in the first part of the game.
It will be. Since you started talking a little bit about offense there, and this is a complementary game. That's what Ryan's been really good at. How the offense complements the defense and what you're ultimately able to do. And so maybe you stand over the ball sometimes, you slow it down, you have those 10, 11 play drives. Maybe sometimes you go quick, you get them in there and you get them rolling, you get guys gassed, and then you can start running the ball, taking shots. That pass rush slows down and everything else. One of the other things I think you could ultimately see here, and this is what Ryan's been really good at since with his tenure at Ohio State, is when you get really good defensive lines, like how are you going to block them? Like we're going to change up how we block them. We're going to slide. We'll do some man protection. We'll do some chips. We'll do some doubles, hang the tight ends. And that, I think, is one of the big benefits at Ohio State when you have guys like Bennett Christensen, Will Kazmarek, big physical dudes, in addition to Max Clare. Max can obviously push the middle of the field, but you can have those other 2 guys, maybe one, maybe both, hang in there, double chip the ends. You can get Bo Jackson out, and that slows those guys down too, and that will challenge them some. So it's Miami team defensively, obviously good. One of the other guys that, I love talking to people, that I think that are smarter than me, that have been around ball for 25 years, college, NFL, everything. Keontae Scott, number 0, their nickelback, came up. Very, very talented dude. And kind of, how hard it is to find guys that can play nickel. He, in the game, Schleichs, he's got, a number of picks this year. He had 10 total tackles against A&M, 2 sacks. Like, they bring him on pressure. They do a lot of different stuff with him. And It's funny, a lot of teams call he's a 6-foot guy from California. I believe he transferred into Miami, if I'm not mistaken.
Is he the one that I remember that was?
He's 6'1", 190, dude. He's a bigger dude. I mean, he's a thick guy. Yeah, if you look at him on the year, he's got 5 sacks, couple forced fumbles, couple fumble recoveries. He's got a pick. I mean, he's been able to do a lot. Very, very talented guy. And he, that we used to call in this defense. Yeah, he came from Auburn.
That was our defense. That was our star position.
He's called the star. And we always go, why is that guy called the star? And they said they call him the star because that's the guy that gets to be the star. He gets to play. I mean, he's the star of the defense. When you put him in there in that nickel hang position, you're going to blitz him. He gets involved in the run game. He can be involved in the pass and do a lot of stuff. And Keontae Scott, I think, outside of their D-line, is probably their most valuable player on defense because of his versatility and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, that was a lot like for us. Dante was that guy, Bob, right? He came down and was able to be a star when we were running our nickel packages because we had Nasty Nate back there, Nate Sally and B Mitch that could do some things. People don't realize how valuable that is. And then you also got to have if you're going to bring him on pressure, you better have a safety that can come down and also be on that, which then that goes into the game within the game of Julian being able to recognize when those guys are coming. We're at Ohio State. We simulate pressure, not necessarily bring it, but we simulate it to get pass protection to slide one way or the other. Whereas they're going to bring it. Can you pick it up? And can you find the mismatch or the hot route to where you can get the ball out of your hand quickly? And that's what it's going to come down to.
Hot route. What does that mean? Just go to the other side, Schlegs. Just go to the other side. Our old guy Vince Vaughn from Wedding Crashers bringing it home. So some good stuff right there. But some of the guys I think defensively, like when you start looking at this, what they bring to the table, obviously Masador, Ruben Bain, people know those guys. But Keontae Scott, someone else that they're going to have a plan for. And that's why those tight ends, the guys on the edges, they're the ones that are going to be climbing to them. And then also Brandon Innish, because a lot of the stuff, when you talk about your third receiver, your slot receiver, you need a dude in there that can be a dog and go block somebody. He's got to go block a linebacker. Maybe he's got to dig out that star, has to do all of that.
And Brandis has very good body control.
What did you call him, Brandis? Like Brandon Innish? Brandis?
No, I didn't.
Brandis. I think you just made his name one name.
Hey, Brandis, what's up, bro?
That's good. He's a dog, though. Interesting nugget, Schlegs. Him and Malachi Tony, high school teammates. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Really, very, very talented players. Built differently, very differently physically. Ennis is a stout and thick dude. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come back. We've got our headlines. We'll dive into some of the biggest news happening around college football. But first, we got a message from our friends over at Becker. BCKR.com, elite fan gear. Go check it out. They've got some unbelievable deals. They got some great stuff going on now, new products, new SKUs. Go make sure you see it. They've got other teams outside of Ohio State, but listen, buy Buckeye gear for the ones that you love in your crew, friends, family, whatever it is. Hats, winter gear, cold gear. It's got all the function and features you want. It looks great, feels even better when you're wearing it. Use promo code all caps Bobby for an extra 10% off at checkout. And right now you get free shipping on everything. BCKR.com. They're blowing up, taking the college football landscape by storm. So go check them out. We got our headlines coming up next.
Customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer, beer flavored beer.
All right, Schlegs. We got a lot of little news and nuggets to get to. Do you want to get to some of the Buckeyes in the NFL? We can pull up the Olave piece since Schlegs has it super huge on the show sheet.
That was an accident.
It's okay. Listen,
good for him.
It's a point of emphasis. Point of emphasis, Schlegs. Pull the Olave. So Chris Olave had some stuff. We'll get to his stuff here in a second. First, Jack Sawyer interception against the Browns today for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Little pick on Shedeur Sanders. He didn't run this one all the way back, but how about that? Let's give it up for our guy. How sweet was that?
Hey, they ended up winning that game yesterday.
The Browns did end up winning. I mean, why wouldn't they? Only win games that don't matter at the end of the year. That's the Cleveland Browns. Oh, look at that. There you go. Boom. Jack Sawyer with the pick. Jack Sawyer got tipped.
Game last week.
Yeah, got tipped. Yeah, he's been playing well. He's been making plays. Got tipped, went and made the play. Good for him. But Chris Olave, awesome for him. Do you know who the New Orleans Saints quarterback is, Schlegs?
Nope, not a clue.
Exactly. I think it's Shuck, but
I mean, heck, we talked about
doesn't matter
the other day.
Yeah, here's the reality though, is that Chris Olave had 100 receptions this year for a team that you can't even name who the quarterback is. They had the Rattler out there, they had Tyler Shuck, but 100 receptions for Chris Olave. And I don't know if you saw this earlier this year, Schlegs. He talked about how he was debating whether or not he was going to retire last year. Yes. Remember, he had like 3 concussions in like 5 or 6 weeks. He'd been beat up. He was ready to kind of be done. And Chris is one of my favorites. He doesn't talk a whole lot. I mean, he's like the silent assassin out there, but he's an awesome dude, plays really hard, super fluid. Dude plays on special. He played on special teams. Remember his block punt against Michigan. Guy does it all. Super happy for our guy, Chris Olave. I used to call him Olaf, like out of Frozen.
That was in our show sheet, but what a great testament to perseverance through trials and tribulations of his own, and to be able to come out and have 100 receptions this year. And heck, I even saw CJ Stroud yesterday, I think is the 3rd all time in Houston for touchdowns or something like that. He's been lights out.
Well, if you ask John Simon, another notable Buckeye, his 4 years or 5 years in Houston, he's like, we had some pretty terrible quarterbacks. So, I mean, they've struggled on the quarterback train. So CJ, as long as he doesn't get literally cut in half and can still play football, I mean, Deshaun Watson's the only quarterback they had that was good. And then when he went to Cleveland, he became bad. Obviously not a great situation there, but that would be great for CJ. He's doing a great job. They got a big win this weekend. So some Buckeyes in the NFL, getting it done in a big way. Schlegs wants to go to Matty P. So let's go.
I thought it was really good. It was funny. I was just done talking to somebody about these types of things. When you have key players, veteran players, speaking of a coach with this type of reverence is not the appropriate word, but maybe appreciation of what they have brought to the table and how it has impacted them and kind of how they feel about it. I think it's very important for people to understand that.
Let's listen to Sonny talk about our guy, Matt Patricia.
Question how good of a coach he was and how well he was able to be in a coordinator and calling plays and things like that. But I think the thing that we weren't aware of was the kind of person he was. He's an amazing person. As soon as he came here, you knew he wanted to be a mentor, a role model, and it was always bigger than football to him. And the relationship always felt genuine. He genuinely cares about us like we're his own kids.
I mean, when he first stepped on campus here, it was like a long lost family member that just came back from whatever he came from, but he came back home. And I mean, all the guys love him. Even the offensive guys, he's just a family guy. He don't just talk to the starters or whatever the case may be, but he talks to everybody. And I think that's why everybody loves him.
It's awesome to kind of see that and see the montage of it, of what he provided. I'm a huge Matt Patricia fan. So are you, Schlegs. I'm hoping that we don't lose him to the NFL. I'm going to have to do my best work to convince him to stay.
I'm trying to get his son up here. I was like, hey, Matty, come on, we're coaching. You can't leave.
Well, I want to tell him that, Matt, here's the thing. Talk to Ryan. You guys make a pact. Stay here till your kids are done with high school, and then Buckeyes.
Blood oath.
Blood oath, yeah.
Outlaw Josie Wales. What was that? What was the Indian name? Oh my gosh, I think it was Thunder or something. Anyway, so they went and he cut his hand. It's yes, that's it. Blood oath.
Chief Nakahoma?
No. I'll look it up.
No, that was the guy in the Braves outfield that they called Chief Nakahoma. Sorry, Schlegs. You don't even get the joke there. Buckeyes. But Matt Patricia, what he's meant to this team, what he's done has been absolutely tremendous. It's been fantastic. The guys love him. His ability to connect, not just what they do scheme-wise. I was talking to Dusty Dvorak today, Schlegs, who's going to be on the call for the Ohio State Miami Cotton Bowl. And he's like, it feels like you guys do more than anybody else in the country. I'm like, they do a lot, and it's about half of what I think Matt even really wants to do. There's so much more there, and it's the first year, so they're slowly building it in. As guys get into this defense, they understand it. You can keep growing and figuring this out. It's awesome, but they do a ton, but not too much, and it's really, really impressive to see. They got to keep growing in this. And the best part about Matt, he figures out what you're good at, and let's figure that out. And then the other piece is playing complementary football. Like, hey, you've got an offense you can score. You don't have to take a lot of risk. If you've got an offense that maybe struggles and you got to get the ball back and you got to do things, well, then, yeah, maybe you have to play more aggressive. But that's conversations with him and Ryan about figuring out how are we going to play. That's like the New England. It's in the NFL. You got to figure it out. Playing complementary football. What type of team are we talent-wise, and what are we good at? Then what do we need to be? And so that's like all of those pieces built in there together. And that's what makes it so good is how they build it all, how they play together, the complementary football. You absolutely love to see it.
10 Bears was the name. 10 Bears, him and 10 Bears.
Him and 10
Blood
Bears.
oath.
That's
Blood oath.
Yeah, the blood oath. Like, you love to see the blood oath from 10 Bears. Is it Chief 10 Bears? Is that?
I just think his name was just 10 Bears. I am 10 Bears.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's all good. I mean, I can get down with the 10 Bears. I mean, why not 9 Bears? Why not 11 Bears?
Nope.
What do you think is significant about the number 10?
I think maybe that's how many bears he killed. Right, 10. He killed 10 bears.
Anthony Hopkins once famously said, "I'm going to kill the bear." Hopefully, the Buckeyes, they're going to kill the bear as well. And that bear is shaped in the form of a hurricane. Hopefully, here coming up this week. All right, we're long for a break. We're going to take a quick break. Coming back, we will have our tailgate talk. We will answer some of your questions, assuming that I can find them here on the YouTube machine right here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer, beer flavored beer.
Welcome back in to the Bobby Carpenter Show, Schlags. Excited to be here. It's Monday. It's game week. That's exciting. It's a huge week for Ohio State. You got to get this first win.
Yep.
And that's, I think, a big deal, Schlags, getting that first initial win to get some momentum going. Does that feel like something, like, as we talking this, and I know sometimes we do our lift it or leave it, but it feels like getting that first initial win, if you haven't been playing, is something that is a huge deal.
I think it goes back to the beginning of the season when they played Texas, regardless of what Texas became throughout the season. It was just win. You had the Texas A&M game, going to be very different. And kudos to Miami coming on the road on Kyle Field and getting a win versus, the third best SEC team ranked wise there. And now you got the Cotton Bowl. So they are coming off of like, hey, man, we beat Notre Dame early in the season. Yeah, you lost to Louisville. Yeah, you lost to SMU, but you got this one. And now they got a little bit of momentum. And now you have a team that's coming in and they got to go seize it back because your last game was a loss in the Big Ten championship game to now the number one team in the country, in which defensively you played very well outside of maybe 3 plays. Offensively was not your best game. It's really, to me, Bob, what does this offense look like to capture that momentum at the beginning of the game? That's probably what I'm most excited to see. And you're also doing it against a very good Miami defense, really athletic players in all positions. And you've already mentioned a bunch of them, but how does that offensive line block, well? How are we able to run the football? And how do we utilize tempo to our advantage with our personnel? It's going to be exciting.
All right, got a couple of
Imperative.
comments here from our show on Friday. Schleg. Violent Night is one of my top holiday flicks now, which
I
is
got one.
absolutely tremendous. Have you had a Herman? Let's ask ourselves who the officials are and have they officiated previous Buckeye games. This is important detail to know, as they may
Not
be
called.
critical to the call of the game. Here's one that's awesome. And this is from Senior BV 4916. These guys should really stop talking about Michigan as if they know anything. The suggestion of Tony Anisi is completely ignorant. That's the Ferris State coach, right? Schleg?
Yeah, 100%.
He thinks we need our Jim Tressel. Why would we want a coach that literally had to vacate a season? These guys love to get on their moral high horse, but completely ignore the transgressions of their own shady team's history. Absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, that's a great, you know what? Kudos that you live in a country that they're not going to put you in prison, because that created animosity to me. You threatened me with that statement. No, and it was just, I was literally pointing out the fact that you got a really good football coach. The difference is that we know Tress and we know everything that went down in that entire situation.
It's like they were talking about trading their memorabilia, bowl games and stuff for tattoos. Now, I'm not going to sit here and endorse that, but I'm also not going to say that that's near what was going on up there. I mean, everything that they've done has been worse.
And let's go. Hey, you know what? We'll bring this up because we're in Tailgate Talk. Hey, guess what, Michigan? Good hire.
The press conference, it was one of the most awkward things that Ward Manuel and Kyle Whittingham in the interaction and like the picture taking and everything. We'll get into all that. I sent it over. We didn't get it in. We didn't have time for it today. I'm sure we can get into it on Monday or Tuesday. That'll be tremendous. But I do think Kyle Whittingham was a really good hire, Schlegs. I know, as you do as well. We are along for another break. When we do that, we'll come back. You're going to have about a minute and a half for your parting thoughts and side nuggets here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer, beer flavored beer.
Look at this, man, eastbound and down, going down to Dallas. And you know what, Bob? Let me ask you a question. When you see this right there, the bus is taking off, going to Dallas, what's your memory of like what you felt like going to the bowl game?
It's cool now because I was over there yesterday before they left. So they had practice. They had like an hour break. So like get a shower, get your bags dropped off down there to the trucks. They're going to take them to the airplane, then get some food. And then they do TSA at the Woody, boom, walk right down. And that way, when they go to the airport, they drive on the tarmac and there's like 350 people or whatever it is, not that many, but everybody's going right up on the plane and they're ready to rock.
Tell everybody about the emotion. It's almost like, because again, it's been a long time since they played. It's almost been a month since their last win. Like, what is that emotion like? It's real.
Well, it's like AJ. He always used to wear these guys wear their travel sweats now. We used to have to always wear suits. You know, and AJ, remember, he used to always wear that black on black on black shirt, black suit, black tie. He's like Johnny Cash, dude. You going to a funeral? Maybe I am. You know, going to the Hurricane funeral. Schlegs, that's what it's all about. So it's exciting. When you haven't played for a while, these guys are juiced up. They're locked in. They're ready to go. We got a big week. We're going to talk a lot more about it. Thank you for hanging in here with us. We'll be back on Tuesday for another edition right here with the Bobby Carpenter Show.
customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, play your game.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you.